Good evening, let's begin. Question 1. At first, Alfred Fielding and Mark Schwann proposed using their invention as exotic wallpaper, and then for covering greenhouses. But in the end, they found success when IBM started using their product for packaging purposes. What exactly did they create? The answer is bubble wrap. Question 2. A while ago, at one of their branches, the Dutch supermarket chain Jumbo introduced a special checkout, where the service takes longer than usual. That move proved to be so successful they did the same thing in 200 other stores. Why exactly does the service take more time? The answer is, those special checkouts are for people who feel lonely. The cashiers don't just handle purchases, they also chat to the customers. Question 3. At the Indianapolis 500 car race in 1911, Ray Harron, one of the participants, turned up alone without a navigator. The other racers started protesting, fearing he could become a threat to their safety, as he would only be able to focus on the road in front of him. What did the man invent to tackle the problem? The answer is the rear-view mirror. Question 4. Quite a while ago, the rulers of that place wanted a copy of every single book in the world. Luckily, the city was a hub for all ships traveling through the Mediterranean, and so they introduced a law stating that all vessels had to hand over all books in their possession for copying. Then the copies would be returned to their owners. But where would the originals go? The answer is to the Library of Alexandria. Question 5. Prior to the early 19th century, most shoes were considered straights. What exactly does that mean? The answer is, it means that shoes weren't made for the right or the left foot. They were interchangeable. Question 6. In the first half of the 15th century, there were only a few tens of thousands of handwritten books in Europe. But by the year 1500, there were already over 9 million books. The fact that many more people were now able to read books was down to 3 technical advancements that had been made recently. The first one was the fact that paper rather than parchment was now being used, which made books cheaper. The second advancement was the invention of steel letters, which made it possible to print entire pages. What was the third advancement? And no, this has got nothing to do with the literacy rates. The answer is, this was because another invention was becoming increasingly widespread: spectacles. Question 7. In the city of Westfield in Massachusetts, a Guns and Hoses blood war takes place once a year. Guns and hoses means policemen versus firemen. What exactly is that blood war? The answer is, this is a charitable competition, and it's about which team can donate more blood. Question 8. When Google started expanding Google Maps to India in 2008, the users would simply get directions like turn left, turn right, etc., but the app wouldn't tell you the street names. What was the reason for that? The answer is, that was because street names aren't commonly used in India. Apparently, about 60% of Indian roads are nameless, or there is more than one name for one street. So instead, Google uses landmarks for directions. Question 9. When you watch George Clooney on ER, you can often see his character looking down while talking to somebody. While this may seem like a cute acting shtick, it has a very simple explanation. What do you think was the reason for that strange technique? The answer is, Clooney had made it a habit to write his lines on pieces of paper or various props, especially if those lines contained complicated medical terminology. Question 10. To this day, post offices in the UK receive letters addressed to a certain fictional character. Who is the character and what address does he reside at? The answer is Sherlock Holmes, 221B Baker Street. Question 11. Now, recordings of Beethoven's music are easily accessible. You can listen to them online, or you can buy a CD on Amazon, or you can go to a nearby store. Now, there are 2 recordings of his music that you will never, ever access or even see. Where are those recordings? The answer is, I was referring to the golden records aboard Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, which are currently, well, somewhere in space. Question 12. What head of state ended up in the Guinness Book of Records, having survived 638 attempts on his life? The answer is Fidel Castro. Question 13. In Arabic-speaking countries, it is Roman. In Greece and Cambodia, it's French. And in France, it's Indian. And the Portuguese simply call it Peru, which is also what it's called in Hindi. What is it? The answer is the turkey, as in the bird. Question 14. The first ever drone was created using a living being. What was the being in question? The answer is, it was a pigeon with a little camera attached to it. Question 15. On the 18th of May 1927, the actress Norma Talmadge accidentally walked into a construction site in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. What happened to her, and what tradition resulted from that little incident? The answer is, she accidentally stumbled into wet concrete. This is where the tradition of actors leaving their hand and footprints in front of the cinema originated. Question 16. In the US, some stores employ people known as fired men. What exactly is their function? The answer is, they are terminated and then rehired multiple times a day to appease dissatisfied customers. Question 17. As an act of personal humility, Siddhartha Gautama, aka the Buddha, said he never wanted to be painted. However, one nameless artist saw him sitting deep in contemplation on the bank of a river and was so moved he felt compelled to paint him after all. However, he didn't want to defy the Buddha's wishes, so he found a way out. How did he solve the problem? The answer is, rather than painting the Buddha himself, the artist painted his reflection. Question 18. In Japan, on what occasion would you get chopsticks as a symbolic gift? The answer is at your wedding. Question 19. What did the London-based shop called the Mousetrap have to do with women's hair? I'm gonna give you a clue, the shop really did sell mousetraps. The answer is, a few centuries ago, women would spend hours having their hair done, which meant they wouldn't wash it for extensive periods of time, which in turn meant that occasionally they would wake up because there was a mouse in their hair. To tackle the problem, some of them would put a mousetrap next to their head before sleep. Question 20. When Disneyland opened back in 1955, the tickets were more expensive than those of Disney's competitors. What solution did Disney come up with to get people to buy a ticket after all? I'm gonna give you a clue, it had something to do with the ticket offices. The answer is, Disney suggested placing the ticket offices in the center of the park. On the way to the box office, children would see all the wonderful rides, and the parents could no longer refuse them. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to hit the like button and let me know how well you did in the comments. It would really help me grow the channel. Thank you for your time and have a peaceful night.